Okie dokie. Today we're going to learn about the mythical conflict between Atlantis and Athens. We're going to learn about Plato's account of the war, the symbol of Athens as a beacon of resistance, the larger series of conflicts involving Atlantis, their military power and technology, strategic alliances, the dramatic siege of Athens, divine intervention, and the eventual downfall of Atlantis. All right, let's get into this. So let's start with Plato's account of the war. In his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, Plato introduces us to the legendary city of Atlantis. Now, he named Atlantis for apparently centuries, from the 5th century on at least. Scholars and scientists and politicians and tourists all went to Atlantis. Supposedly Atlantis, it may be an island, but there's more and more evidence that show its geographical location as northwest Africa, and something devastating and tragic happened where there was a tsunami destroyed the city. But that's still all hearsay. We don't know. Anyways, in Plato's writings, he has mentioned plenty of times and apparently given locations to where Atlantis is. Now, as I said, he named Atlantis. It may have gone by several different names. So as far as we know, it may be a completely different name that's been hiding in plain view all this time. Hopefully, we'll be able to, in the near future, figure it out. Other than that, it's still considered a myth. Atlantis wasn't just any civilization. It was an exceptionally powerful and advanced one. Its citizens enjoyed sophisticated technology and unparalleled wealth, making it a force to be reckoned with. Plato paints a picture of Atlantis, detailing its vast dominion and the opulence of its capital city, said to be located in a lush and fertile land beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. It wasn't just wealth that made Atlantis formidable. It was also their military might. The Atlanteans held a vast empire, spreading their influence and power far and wide. Regarding the war with Athens, Plato tells us that the Atlanteans tried to expand their dominion further by attacking Athens. Athens, though smaller and seemingly weaker, stood firm. They valiantly repelled the invasion, embodying the spirit of resilience and strength. This depiction of Athens as a beacon of courage and virtue highlights the city-state's value system of justice and democracy, standing in stark contrast to the imperial and tyrannical ambitions of Atlantis. We need the bad guy and we need the good guy. This narrative by Plato serves as the bedrock for most of the subsequent stories and myths we've come to associate with Atlantis. It's a tale imbued with themes of power, morality, and the inevitable consequences of hubris, and it's Plato's riveting account that ensures Atlantis remains a source of endless fascination and speculation. But again, Plato also wrote tons of fiction, so. In Plato's narrative, Athens stands tall as more than just a city-state. It is portrayed as a beacon of virtue and courage. Despite its smaller size and resources compared to the imposing Atlanteans, Athens shows unyielding resilience. When the mighty Atlantis launched its invasion, aiming to expand its vast empire, Athens didn't cower. Instead, it stood firm, embodying the ideals of justice and democracy. The Athenians weren't just fighting for survival, they were defending their way of life, their principles, and their identity. Plato writes that Athens, although it was not as technologically advanced or militarily powerful as Atlantis, possessed an indomitable spirit and unparalleled strategic brilliance. This spirit allowed Athens to withstand the Atlantean onslaught and ultimately repel their invaders. Athens' successful defense symbolizes much more than a tactical victory. It represents the triumph of good over evil, order over chaos, and freedom over oppression. In many ways, this narrative serves as a metaphor for the timeless struggle between democratic ideals and autocratic ambitions. The Athenians' resolve and their unwavering commitment to their values in the face of overwhelming odds have left an enduring legacy, one that continues to inspire and remind us of the power of collective courage and moral integrity. But let's talk about the bigger picture of the conflicts involving Atlantis. So the myths go beyond Plato's narrative to suggest that the war with Athens wasn't a one-off event. It was just one chapter in a much larger series of conflicts where Atlantis battled other ancient civilizations like Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Indus Valley, or Indus Valley. All these battles collectively took a toll on Atlantis. The strain of constant warfare, sending resources like manpower, food, and technology, which gets stretched thin, meant that Atlantis's dominant military power started to wane. Every battle, every conflict chipped away at their strength. Their enemies from different corners of the ancient world joined forces in a struggle for survival against the Atlanteans. The series of war didn't just weaken Atlantis physically, it disrupted their society. Practices and norms got overshadowed by the relentless need to fend off enemies. The military, as advanced as it was, couldn't keep up with the constant pressure. Atlantis's grand ambitions and reach began to crumble from within. The constant conflict drained the life out of Atlantis bit by bit until their great civilization was just a shadow of what it once was. The Atlanteans were legendary for their formidable military strength. It was described that their forces were equipped with cutting-edge technology and extraordinarily powerful weapons, a combination that greatly intimidated their enemies. They boasted a large and impressive navy which could quickly mobilize to protect or attack across vast distances. In addition to their naval might, Atlantis had an elite army renowned for its skill and training. These soldiers weren't just adept at traditional combat. They were also masters of advanced weaponry, something that other civilizations couldn't match. Their innovative use of technology on the battlefield included weapons that were far more advanced than anything their adversaries possessed, giving them a significant strategic advantage. This military superiority is what made Atlantis stand out as a dominant force. They were feared by many, and their reputation alone was enough to dissuade potential threats. Ancient civilizations like Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Indus Valley all recognized the power and might of the Atlantean military, which contributed to Atlantis' status as a powerful and potentially unstoppable empire. Advanced technology was one of the key factors that set Atlantis apart from other ancient civilizations. According to myths, the Atlanteans had access to energy sources and sophisticated weaponry. These advancements gave them a significant military advantage, helping them achieve early success in their campaigns. It's said that their energy sources were so advanced that they could power entire cities and even fuel their formidable navy. Their weaponry was also ahead of its time, with descriptions of machines that could wreak havoc on the battlefield. This level of technological prowess made Atlantis a force to be reckoned with, instilling fear and admiration in equal measure. However, this technology that led to their rise played a role in their downfall. As the myths go, Atlantis' reliance on advanced machinery and energy eventually backfired. Their technological might fostered arrogance and a sense of invincibility. This led to them overextending their empire and engaging in conflicts they couldn't sustain. The same powerful energies they harness are often cited as contributing to cataclysmic natural disasters like earthquakes, floods, and tsunamis, and that ultimately submerged the island. Again, I don't believe it's an island. I believe that it's a city on a continent somewhere in Africa, North Africa. In essence, the Atlantean technology was a double-edged sword. It propelled them to the height of their power, but it also sowed the seeds of their destruction, serving as a cautionary tale about the perils of overdependence on and misuse of technological advancements. Throughout the various conflicts, Atlantis wasn't always fighting alone. They formed strategic alliances with different civilizations to strengthen their position. These alliances were often unstable, heavily influenced by changing ambitions and the quest for power. At times, Atlantis may have found support from powerful neighbors like Egypt or Mesopotamia, who saw mutual benefits in standing with Atlantis against common enemies. Yet these relationships were fragile. The moment the balance of power shifted or a more advantageous offer came along, those alliances could crumble. The shifting loyalty and the constant forging and breaking of alliances made the situation even more volatile. This instability not only complicated the efforts of Atlantis to maintain its dominance, but also sowed the seeds of distrust among the civilizations. The continuous state of war and the uncertainty of who stood as friend or foe drained Atlantis' resources and morale. The fragile nature of these alliances played a significant role in adding to the overall instability, which eventually contributed to the downfall of Atlantis' mighty power. This chaotic web of alliances and rivalries exemplifies the complex nature of ancient geopolitics and highlights how internal and external pressures can lead to the disintegration of a once mighty civilization. The Siege of Athens is one of the most dramatic episodes in the conflict. Atlantis, with its formidable army and advanced technology, thought that victory over Athens would be a swift and easy affair. Atlantis' superior numbers and weaponry seemed unbeatable, but they underestimated the spirit and resolve of the Athenians. Athens stood as a beacon of hope and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The small city-state, known for its democratic values and strategic ingenuity, mounted a fierce defense against the invading Atlanteans. The Athenian soldiers, motivated by their love for their homeland and the principles they stood for, fought back with unmatched determination. The streets of Athens became battlegrounds, with every inch fiercely contested. The Athenians used their intimate knowledge of the city's layout to outmaneuver their enemies. They set up clever traps and launched surprise attacks, making every Atlantean advance costly. The defenders, although outnumbered, showed remarkable strategic brilliance. The failure of the siege to conquer Athens was a pivotal moment in the broader conflict. It demonstrated that technology and sheer numbers alone could not guarantee victory. The courage and tactical prowess of the Athenians turned the tide against the mighty Atlanteans, proving that true strength lies in the spirit of the people. Through their resilience, Athens became a symbol of hope and a testament to the power of unity and strategy over brute force. This episode not only highlighted the indomitable will of the Athenians, but also set the stage for the eventual downfall of the once invincible Atlantis. Some versions of the myth suggest that the conflict between Atlantis and Athens didn't involve humans. The gods themselves played a crucial role. It's said that the gods decided to intervene in the war, siding with Athens and punishing Atlantis for what they saw as its hubris and moral corruption. This story begins with Atlantis growing too proud and ambitious, flaunting its powers and advanced technology without any regard for the moral consequences. Athens, on the other hand, was seen as a symbol of virtue and justice. The gods were drawn to its ideals and decided to lend their divine support to this brave city-state. This divine intervention added a layer of moral and ethical weight to the conflict. It transformed what could have been a simple clash of armies into a cosmic battle between good and evil. According to the myths, the gods helped Athens in numerous ways. They are said to have provided divine inspiration and strength to the Athenian soldiers, helping them to resist and ultimately repel the Atlantean invaders despite being outnumbered and outgunned. The gods' wrath against Atlantis was devastating. Some myths even suggest that natural disasters like earthquakes and floods, which ultimately led to the sinking of Atlantis, were the result of the gods' punishment. The long wars took a heavy toll on Atlantis, draining its resources and leaving its society weakened. Legends say that the island was devastated by natural disasters, which were often depicted as earthquakes and floods. These catastrophic events ultimately led to the complete destruction and submersion of Atlantis beneath the waves. This downfall of Atlantis serves as a powerful warning about the consequences of excessive pride, imperial overreach, and the moral decline of a civilization. The tale of the Atlantean war with Athens has left a significant mark on literature, art, and pop culture. For centuries, writers and artists have drawn inspiration from this legendary conflict, creating works that range from epic poems to blockbuster movies. The story's blend of myth, adventure, and moral lessons keep it relevant and compelling for new generations. From ancient texts to modern novels, the Atlantis-Athenian conflict has been reimagined countless times. Take care. Hey, did you know that we have a Patreon? Yeah, like everybody else, we have a Patreon. So if you're looking for scripts to the videos, books on the occult or secret societies, UFOs, conspiracies, things like that, we're putting them up there. We also have unedited versions of the podcast where you get to listen to me make mistakes, and all of the podcasts, which are available and will be available on YouTube. However, on Patreon, they'll be commercial free. No ads. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. If you like it, hit that subscribe button for us. If you don't like it, that's okay too. Other than that, have a great day.